excited to have you all here. It's our 16th year. We are getting bigger every year. Unfortunately, the problem we're trying to solve is getting bigger every year. So the more of us that are focused on helping solve and improve the quality of life for our homeless brothers and sisters out there, the better off our community is, the better off we all are. I wanted to just quickly tell you what's going to go on. We're going to have a quick introduction, some video, and then we're going to actually have our founder, Tom Bagamani, and our mayor, Eric Garcetti, come and give us some words of wisdom. I just wanted to quickly tell you about our organization. The Giving Spirit is a 501(c) charity. We are completely grassroots, volunteer-led organization. And the one thing I want you all to know is that your efforts here mean a huge amount to us. It means a huge amount to the city. One thing I'll have you notice, if you notice by the way we fill this space, the Brentwood Presbyterian Church has been amazing to us. We are outgrowing this space. I know. We can't fit everybody in here. So, if anybody happens to know about a big, open auditorium we could use some help expanding. Dodger Stadium is fine. I know a guy. He knows a guy. The other thing, I wanted to acknowledge a couple of people here today. Obviously, Tom will introduce and talk about the mayor, but our council member for District 11, Mike Donen, is here. Yeah. And also, is the folks from PAT here? Okay, so PAT is the People Assisting the Homeless. It's a great organization, and it's PAT.
Yeah.
Didn't I say that?
You said PAT.
You did. I said PAT. You and my wife should talk because she corrects me. Okay, that's right. So I want you to know that with the help of the Mayor's Fund and the help of PATH, we're going to be carving out a special bunch of these kits to go to 250 of our homeless veterans and helping them out. So a big round of applause for that. Professor Madden, who's the director of development from PATH, thank you for everything that you guys do for us. All right, so one other final thing. We're an all-volunteer organization, and we are, unfortunately, short on money. We're rich on volunteers, but we're short on money. We're $92,000 short right now. We have a matching grant. Somebody very generously sort of said, hey, of the money donated today, up to $10,000 I'll match. So if anyone hasn't yet donated, this is the day to donate, and we really, really, really could use the help. The stuff that you see around here, most of it is bought, not donated. That means that it's not folks who are giving us blankets, it's folks that are giving us money. We go out and we buy all these items so that we have 3,000 of the exact same baby lotion, 3,000 of the exact same Band-Aids, 3,000 of the exact same toothbrushes. And that makes a difference because we have continuity and it's a lot easier for us. So the money makes a difference. Please, please, please dig deep and help us out. All right. I'm going to talk real quick about Ezzy. Ezzy, where are you? So you guys are going to see a video in just a minute. Ezzy can make his way up there. So, Ezzy's one of the reasons that I get up every morning. We all contribute a lot of our time and a lot of our love and a lot of energy to helping homeless folks. Well, Ezzy's story, which you'll see shortly on the video, is of a veteran who was living on the streets of LA and who, thanks to our experience working with him, made a change in his life and is living proof, as he's now paid it forward every single day, participating with us in this community, that we can all make a difference. And I'll let the video sort of speak for itself. So if we could turn those lights down, there's a switch right over there, and watch the video.
I was given out of parents. I was thinking crazy.
This is Ezzy Ritchie. He's a 57-year-old military veteran who was homeless on the streets of Los Angeles.
My mom had passed, and I really never gotten over her. Me and her was kind of close. And on top of that, I lost 2 sons, twins.
Ezzy self-medicated with alcohol and drugs. His wife said he changed, and she divorced him. He tried to recover. He enrolled in college, but a falling out with his aunt who he was living with at the time, left him with nowhere to go. He saw things on the streets that he says he can't forget.
I was on a park one night and ducking bullets.
Keeping up his grades and his appearances with classmates were getting harder and harder.
It got to the point to where it wasn't about homework anymore. It was like, when you get out of school, you got to find something to eat. You got to find you somewhere where you're safe to sleep tonight.
That's when he met Tom Bagamane, founder and chairman of the nonprofit volunteer organization, The Giving Spirit. Twice a year, the 15-year-old Do Good group, which has 10,000 registered volunteers, packs survival kits for the homeless, which many volunteers then hand-deliver to neighborhoods with high homeless populations, as well as to shelters.
Everything in those kits will allow someone to survive where they stand. So there's toiletries, basic hygiene, food, hydration products, things to keep them warm, things to keep them dry. So imagine if you had absolutely nothing, you had the shirt on your back, and somebody dropped that kit at your feet. We've had clients tell us that that's lasted them months.
They was giving out backpacks. But I saw more than that. My mind started, I was like, whoever did, I said, this is love right here. I see a sandwich with a side open right here.
No longer homeless, Ezzy's mission involves going out with the volunteers to deliver survival kits to others in need. He tells people he meets on the streets his story. He gives them advice and tries to connect, like Tom did when the two friends met a few years ago. He tells people surviving in sidewalk tents that he's been there and that he hopes he caught them at the right moment in their lives to make a difference.
Tom, he's my friend, you know, he's like a brother to me. And everybody that I met in that organization through him feel like family. They came 2 feet below the surface where I was.
The Alabama native completed college with a degree in sociology and lives in an apartment through the VA subsidized housing program in South LA. He says he's grateful and content with his life.
You didn't see this. It was like, shit, I could be walking down the street, people would get off the sidewalk fearing that I'm the type of person that might, you know, take off on them any kind of minute, but it's not that. It was just, I be in my own little zone and not caring about nobody else and not really caring about myself at that moment. Now I'm happy. You know, I can smile, a real smile, you know. I can feel a real warm feeling inside.
I want to introduce you to Tom Bagamane, the founder of the Giving Spirit.
Morning. Good morning. The mayor's here. Good morning. Welcome to year 16 of the Giving Spirit. The mayor is in the house. So, I know the traffic's bad from City Hall, Eric, but 16 years? Another shout out, for the first time officially, USC is in the house. So, now, I just want to let you Trojans know that the Bruins adopted us 6 years ago. So I know you guys don't like playing catch up, so there it is. Most importantly, guys, we're gathered here to provide 2,600 lives hope in the next 2 days. That's what you should be really excited about. Special thank yous. We already called out BTC, Dave Carpenter, the pastor. The congregation here has been incredibly generous to us over the years, so can't thank them enough. The leadership of our organization, again, is all volunteer. Most of you know that. But there's certain individuals that go way beyond the call in terms of their everyday lives and commitments to this organization. Clarence Johnson, Tim Ingram. Claire Wagner. And Mike Savage. Incredible volunteers. And that brings up a very valid point. We are all volunteers. We have no paid staff. Somebody asked me yesterday, where's your office? I said, you're looking at it. We're virtual as virtual can get. And we do that. Why? Because we want to know that all of your efforts, whether you're giving time or money, is going right back to get guys like Ezzy to believe in us again. So we need leadership, and we need commitments from people all year round. So if you want to give a few hours a month, please do. We have 2 outstanding senior leadership positions that need to be filled. One is development chair. Somebody can actually help us raise money, go through the foundation process. We need somebody to help us on a senior level of development. And if you have great experience in marketing, branding, we need somebody to help us continue to build and mine our brand. So if you have any inclination yourselves, or you know people that want to get involved, find me or anybody in the orange vests, and they'll find me. We'll try to talk. And at the end of the day, as James has already expressed, we are all volunteers, which means every nickel goes right back to the street, and we need more nickels. We have 4,600 lives that we're committed to today, 2,600, and in the summer we're 2,000, and we're 90 grand short. And so please, if you know of anyone, or yourselves obviously today, that can make this happen, please help us bridge the gap. We've never been this far down this late in the year. So I just ask you to pray for us so we can make those numbers. So now to the work at hand. Since 2013, homelessness in Los Angeles has gone up 12%. There's been an 85% rise in encampments in Los Angeles in the last year, which I'm sure Eric will probably talk to or speak to. That means I think it's gone up to 10,000 now encampments throughout the city. How many people now have noticed new encampments over the last year or so in their own neighborhoods? That's real. That's in our face every day. And the perfect storm's on its way in the face of El Nino. Those blankets, those umbrellas, those ponchos you're putting in there, those warm gloves and hats. Imagine if you had no roof and all you saw was rain for days. And your front yard is the street, and because of not that the infrastructure is bad in the city, but because we're not used to having lots of water in the street, your front lawn now is in your house, and you're flooded, and you're flooded, and you're flooded, and your kids got to go to school. You need to get to your job. You need to get to the shelter to get your food, and you're soaking wet, and nothing's going to dry because where are you going to put it to dry? That's the life that you're going to be affecting today because they don't know it's coming, right? They're not on CNN every day on the Weather Channel. They're not at Home Depot, they're just sitting there waiting on life. So today, when you roll up on these folks, and tomorrow, you're giving them a chance to survive the weather that we're afraid about, that they're going to be threatened by. So understand the power of your work today. And how has this scenario actually gotten worse? Since 2011, LA has been home to over 20,000 homeless veterans. Take a second and process that. 20,000 homeless men and women who have put their lives on the line for us to be able to do what we do every day. That should not be happening in our country, but it is. And I'll tell you a really quick story. I had a great opportunity to be at breakfast where a Navy SEAL spoke, named Brandon. Amazing hero. You guys would have loved the story. Incredibly heroic man. And after he returned back from his 250 missions in Iraq and Afghanistan, he was reassimilated back in society, and he said, wow, there's a lot of homelessness in our sector. He went and researched, and he said that after the Vietnam War, 0 to 10 years took for a Vietnam vet to become homeless. 0 to 10 years. Guess how long it's taken our current vets coming back from all the strife in the Middle East? 2 years. You guess? 0 to 1. 0 to 1. We find kids on the street who just got out and have nothing. I mean, what's going on with our society? Thank you, Eric, for what you're doing for homeless vets with your Home Heroes. Thank you. We see the struggles that these men and women face, the frustrations of dealing, and Ed can be is a perfect example of this, because he and I and all of our volunteers, if I work with him, just going through the system, which is so broken, and the policies that tragically dishonors the service of these people. It's amazing to hear his stories. So it's out there, but you know what? We're part of the solution. And we're not going to stop fighting until it's eradicated, right? You see what happens when the public sector and the private sector work together. That's how things get done in this country. And we just wish that more cities were like this. Thank you for supporting us in this matter. So I'm often asked by many people, so what's the secret sauce of TGS? And I drilled it down to one word, and it's acknowledgement. It's a very powerful word, acknowledgement. It's truly what we crave and seek as human beings, right? And as in life, in the world of TGS, acknowledgement all starts with a name, our name, right? And Ezzy's story is a perfect example of that. If we didn't reach out to him, ask him his name, where he came from, how he got here, and embraced him as one of us, he would have taken what we got, gone off, and maybe would never be seen again. He was this close of cashing it in. Now he's here, in a house, having fun, with one of you. But this is where the magic of TGS begins. With that initial acknowledgement of someone's life as being just as important as ours, it changes. The barriers are broken for all of our collective fears. We're scared, he's scared. Okay? But once you engage and acknowledge that person as another human being that belongs on this earth just as much as we do, game changer. Why do we, and this is why we always preach that the goods in this room are only half the gifts that we give out in the streets. As we've seen so tragically in San Bernardino, in Paris, in Chicago, when people become objects, they become disposable. They become replaceable. In our client's case, they become invisible. This weekend, we can, by simple and random act of acknowledgement, we can regain our sense of equilibrium. Right? So much of TGS's work is transferable to all aspects of our lives. There are people in our own lives who don't have the courage to ask for help. What if we acknowledge their needs on our own? What if we sincerely ask them, so how are you doing? Is everything okay? And then be totally willing to support them in whatever that answer might be. Think about it. So imagine what the world would look like if we took time to truly acknowledge the immense value of each of our own lives. Let's start today with 2,600 lives. Who's in it with me? Remember this. The giving spirit lives within each of us. It's all a matter of what we do with it. Right? It's not a one-day thing, it's not a weekend thing, it's our lives. So, thank you. God bless you for your service and your support. I'm now going to do something that I never would have thought I would ever do 16 years ago, sitting in Amy Freer's apartment and with shopping bags and stuff all over the floor and trying to figure out what we're going to do over the next 3.5 days. I now have the honor that I never could have imagined. Okay. Mayor Eric Garcetti began working homeless shelters on Skid Row when he was 14. How about that? Today, housing the homeless is one of his foremost priorities. The mayor took First Lady Michelle Obama's pledge to end veteran homelessness. Since January 2014, through collaborative efforts with government entities, homeless agencies, and nonprofit organizations, they are making great strides towards this goal. This week, City Council approved the mayor's request for $12.4 million in emergency spending to rehouse homeless folks before the end of this fiscal year. Council Mike, take it back. We are very thankful for the mayor's unprecedented pioneering effort to end homelessness in the city of Los Angeles once and for all. So please join me in welcoming to the stage, to the microphone, Los Angeles' 42nd Mayor, Eric Garcetti. That's your stuff.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody feeling? I wish that I was a mirror and not a mayor, so you could see yourself. Right? But check my social media later, what you can see. This is a sea of angels in the city of angels. And anybody who doubts that here in this city, that our hearts aren't big, that our spirits aren't great, should see this right now. We actually put this out to the press, and I guarantee you tonight, you'll hear about some tragedies that happen in the Southland. I'm sure we'll hear about accidents and murders and gunshots, but that there's no television camera here, unfortunately. They should be seeing this. This is LA. This is the news that people need to know. I want to thank Tom and all of the leadership and volunteers of the Giving Spirit, because it is a reflection of this city and who we are. Tom, James, Tim, Jackie, the entire team. We can only do what we ourselves do. I'm here, of course, as your mayor. There's a lot I want to tell you about what we're doing, because you should rightfully ask, okay, I'm doing this today. What are we doing as a city? And I want to share that with you. But also vice versa, we know we have 40,000 city employees. It sounds like a lot, but there's 4 million residents of Los Angeles. The ultimate force multiplier is not at City Hall or in City Council. It's actually on the streets of our neighborhoods, the places where we work, and the schools that we went to, and our employers, and the way that we can come together as a family this time of year. And I guarantee you this is a better feeling than any present we're going to open up on our own, even for our young Angelinos that are here. And I know there's things that you really want. I guarantee you'll look back and remember this day more than that toy or that video game or something that long after you won't remember. And I want to thank Ezzy as well, who represents the human face of when you hear a number, like 42,000, you just get numb, right? It's just a number. But those are 42,000 stories of people who we walk by or avert our eyes from, and vice versa, who we kind of dehumanize until we can rehumanize them. And Ezzy reminds us that he is us and we are him. That on the streets of Los Angeles, just as I walk with some of our outreach teams too. I did it 2 weeks ago, and then I did it this week as well, or last week and this week. And, the stories of people like Miranda, who I met at the Arroyo Seco and Los Angeles River intersection, which is actually where, when Father Juan Crespi was walking through these areas where Indians had been for over 1,000 years, where they took communion in the river and named the river in 1769 El Rio de Nuestra Señora la Reina de Los Ángeles de Porciúncula, which thankfully we've shortened to Los Angeles. It was ironic that they were encamped exactly where those Franciscans were encamped some 230 plus years ago. And we went out to them, talking to them about the rains that were coming, and Miranda, this beautiful young woman who had been the manager of a gym, who had 2 wonderful children that she told me about, but who fell into substance abuse and now found herself living under a freeway bridge, endangered by the rain. And as I heard her story and gave her the dignity of listening, I pushed her to say, this is the day you can make a change. And the next day, she came in and she's in shelter and being managed, and she wants to turn her life around. She wants to see her kids again. She wants to get back on track. And Ezzy reminds us that that is us.
There's not the homeless population and the non-homeless population. The homeless have homes, it's just on the street, and that's unacceptable. It's just in cars and storage units and places, or couch surfing. But we need people to have good homes and places of their own. And as he reminds us of the courage of one person deciding, I will make a change. But it isn't just him, because you have made the decision, one person at a time, that I too will make change by being here today. This is our greatest resource, our people. But I just came back from Portland, Oregon, where I convened a conference with the mayor of Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, and LA, and Eugene. And we invited the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Secretary Julian Castro, who used to be the mayor of San Antonio, to be there. And we had the homeless czar for the United States, a guy named Matthew Doherty, who heads up the Interagency Council on Homelessness for all of us in the United States. And we said, we need your help. As we've seen federal funds cut, we can't just be silent about that. As we've seen state funds be cut, we can't be silent about that. People keep asking, we need our voices to be heard, and we need their help. Remember how bad it got in the 1980s until we realized this was a national crisis? Let's not get there. I talked to the Secretary of Homeland Security, Jay Johnson, who oversees FEMA. Said, I know you're going to pay us when the rains come. Why can't we get that money now before people die? Can we go to the state and get Governor Brown to help us declare a formal state of emergency? Because you can't do it, you can say it for the city, but it comes with no monies unless the state and federal government is there. But you all can play that role by, after today, picking up the phone and talking to your state and federal reps, calling the governor's office and saying, help. Help us make sure that this gym is multiplied out 1,000-fold. And our promise to you, Mike, Bon, and I, and there is no council member I have ever worked with, no colleague who I know cares as deeply about homelessness as Mike. For us, this is personal. I think if somebody forced us to work on only 2 or 3 issues totally, and we have to work on all of them, and we are, I think we ethically would pick homelessness as one of the places that he and I would continue to be focused on. But we are making sure that Los Angeles isn't just waiting for the feds or the state cavalry to come. For the first time in our city's history, we're moving $100 million up in this coming year's budget out of our general fund, which is not easy to find. We can't close down police stations or fire stations. You need people to come when you call 911. Our beautiful libraries like next door need to be centers of learning and innovation. But we're going to find it somehow. And we're putting vouchers out this winter right now, half for veterans and half for non-veterans, for 1,000 people to get into housing for a year. Not a shelter for a night, which most homeless folks say, no, thank you. I have a pet, I can't get in. I have a partner, we can't both come. I have religious obligations. It doesn't work for me. We have to change the model and meet people where they are. That's what happens. That's what happened with the Giving Spirit. It started small and it scaled up. Now 10,000 volunteers who've helped more than 35,000 Angelinos. But our commitment to you is to continue to do that side by side, not just here filling these kits, but at City Hall filling the coffers. If you think we can't do this, let me inspire you, because some days when you see new encampments, some days when you see somebody homeless and hopeless, you wonder whether we'll ever win this war. But when I became mayor, as Tom mentioned, the First Lady of this country, Michelle Obama, had challenged all the mayors to end homelessness among our veterans. Most mayors had had a year or two head start when I became your mayor, and we were by far the biggest population in the country. We have more homeless veterans in Los Angeles and more homeless people in Los Angeles than any city, including New York, living on our streets. But I said to my staff, could it possibly be done? First they said, no way, we don't have the resources. And I said, well, what if we had all the resources, could we? Well, yeah, but we need the resources. So it can be done, yes. Well, let's take the pledge, and we'll start going from there. So we went to Washington, we said, we're going to need a lot of your help. And the VA and Secretary McDonald, who's doing a great job finally turning around the VA property here to actually serve veterans as it was intended to here on the west side of LA, hired the people, the outreach workers, the housing navigators, and any of you who are landlords or who know landlords, we need apartments. And it's even a better business proposition than regular tenants. So you got to shake down every so often, don't always pay on time. You get direct deposit a year, straight through every month with a housing voucher. You fill out one piece of paper, and it's a great business thing, but it's even a great moral thing to do, to help a veteran get off of our streets. And so we had 2,200 or 2,300 homeless veterans in our city when we started. Today we have housed, and I know the number is going to be confusing when you hear it, 5,500 veterans permanently off the streets of Los Angeles since we took that number sounds like more than we started with, and that's because 4 or 5 homeless veterans are hitting the streets every day. So the number is more than what you start with. We've only got 1,700 left, and we're housing about 300 a month. So sometime mid-next year, we will functionally end homelessness among veterans, and for any new veteran that's out on the street, we'll have a way to take her or to take him and put them in housing quickly. So we've been stuck on this island, trying to swim to the shore, and we've always felt like the current keeps pushing us back to the island. Well, one ship is about to make it all the way. And we've been helping non-veterans at the same time, but we haven't had the same resources. We've had a lot of vouchers, a lot of help from the federal government. But we can show them that model that we can end homelessness. And I'll end with this. You know, I was asked in Portland, we were interviewed in the radio, and somebody said, well, if you have $40 million to build housing, well, that takes years, and shouldn't you just have $40 million to help with efforts like this or in the missions? I said, if we have to choose either or, we will lose this war. We need both. So the next time there is a proposition to build housing in your neighborhood, don't just say no instinctively, because we're 100,000 units short in this city. 100,000 units short. When you're stuck in traffic in the West Side, it's because there's 4 jobs for every 1 unit of housing west of the 405. I know our instincts are like, the traffic's bad enough. We have enough people. But if we don't build, we are saying to a lot of people right now, this is why 13,000 to 14,000 people are pushed into homelessness each month in LA County, that you're not going to meet your rent and you're going to hit the streets. So we will continue to serve as we do here today. Mike and I will continue to shelter and get people into transitional housing once they become homeless. But the best thing we can do is to prevent homelessness from happening. And join us in building 100,000 units of housing in Los Angeles, raising our minimum wage so that gap, LA is now the least affordable county in the country, between rent and wages is closed. 30% of our residents pay 90% of their income just to make the rent. That's not right. So if you care deeply about this today, be there with us. And lastly, the Mayor's Fund, which we put together, and I want to thank Mark Stern, who's here with his wife Eva. Eva's there, Mark's someplace around here as well. We have, thank you, we have raised through the great people of Los Angeles already, close to our goal of $500,000, some of which we have given here to this project because we're finding the best projects in the city to address homelessness. For our hashtag Homes for Heroes campaign to bring home every single vet this winter. So check it out at, I should know the website, Homes for Heroes? HomesForHeroesLA.org. Thank you, Anna Barr. HomesForHeroesLA.org, because you can continue, and we're not in competition. We're giving the money here, too. But push that out to other people to let them know, not only can we, but we will win this war. So finally, if I can ask Mike to join me, we want to give Tom and everybody here, this is for all of you, but we're going to give it to Tom. The giving spirit. This is a recognition of the extraordinary caring and giving that's come from your hearts and from your souls. You've used your head to build something strong. No problem finding a bigger space, by the way. We're already talking about it. But we love the church, too. A secondary space. How's that? And thank you so much again to Brentwood Presbyterian for, let's give another round of applause. We want to thank you, Tom, for what you have done and all the love you have put into this city of angels. God bless you. Thank you so much. And we have one quick volunteer award as well. 2. Sorry, not just 1. I didn't read. Okay, good. Tom's going to do the introduction. We'll go back.
So, since we're recognizing folks, we give 2 awards every year. to the two volunteers who go way beyond the call. The first one's called the True Spirit Award, which is to a line volunteer who never says no, never complains, is always the bright light in this room. And the person who won this award this year is the epitome of that. Actually, where's Julie Hartz? Julie. Oh, wow. So Julie was the first winner of this award back in 2007, right? So this person actually, and Julie set the bar so high that we never thought that we'd find someone that actually could match her, but we did this year. This woman exudes TGS with every breath that she exhales. She enrolls everyone she knows. I mean, she found a rock that she liked, she would bring that to TGS. She even makes sure that we're all fed. Let me tell you one story that epitomizes her dedication. A couple years ago, she was downtown distributing bags with her colleagues, and our motto is no one gets rejected. We always come back. It's like the military, right, Ez? No one gets left behind. This woman drove all the way back from downtown LA on a Saturday afternoon back here, picked up one kit, drove it all the way back to that gentleman who was waiting for her to come back. Yes. Everyone, let me introduce the 2015 winner of our True Spirit Award. No surprise, Lisa Pennington.
She crawls under the table. That is not that good.
Never seen someone so red in my life. Good job, Lisa.
So the second and last award is a chairman's award. This is given to a leader that goes beyond the call and leading us through all the challenges of growing and managing an all-volunteer workforce. This year's recipient is another poster person for this award. Just in 3 events that he's run, he has transformed his committee from the weakest to one of the strongest. And the cool thing is, he doesn't live in LA. He did this from San Francisco, and he did it from Miami, where he lives. And he's been here all week. He and his committee are charged with making sure that every one of us, all our volunteers, have a positive TGS experience. You all have met him some way, somehow, before you got here. A proud son of South Philly, I give you this year's Chairman's Award winner, Mike Savage.
Hold up your word, Mike. Hold up your word.
Big day, huh? I know the mayor's got to run, so I want to thank him again for being here, Eric. Thank you so much.
I think all of LA, who cares if the cameras aren't here, LA needs to see this thing and be inspired, so I think we'll turn our backs to you guys and try to get a huge picture of everybody real quick. But we'll make it nice and enthusiastic, all right? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. you, sister. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for joining, everybody.
It's the last one, I think.